Okay, I have started this little video over so many times. Let's give it another try. I have way too many projects going all at once, obviously. But here's the project I've been... Oh, that light is glaring terrible. Now there's another false start because I don't know if I can keep going with that light like that. It's bad. It's making a big bright yellow glare. It doesn't look like that in real life, but it shows like that on my screen, so I don't know what's going to happen with that, but we'll go on anyway. This is a packing crate dollhouse that Kat gave me a couple months ago, and I've been working on it bit by bit out here in the workshop. I haven't brought it into the house yet, but I wanted to take a video of how far I've gotten so far before I take it into the house to do the finer details on. Packing crate houses were popular for little girls during the Depression era when Dad or Grandpa or Ma would find a packing crate from a piece of machinery and put a little roof on it and convert it into a dollhouse. And I just love that rustic, primitive look of it. I absolutely love it. So I've been working at it. The wallpaper isn't exactly what I wanted, but it has a pretty old 20s, 30s look to it, I think. Good enough for now. I papered cardstock and put it in with spray glue so it can be removed if I find something more suitable. Originally it had oilcloth glued in, which was quite an ordeal to pull out. I left some remnants of it in the attic just for just to remember that it was filled with oilcloth. And it works in the attic, the tattered bits of cloth backing. The first floor was the shelf or the divider that was already in the packing crate. So I covered it with planks and stained those. The ground floor, it was the bottom of the crate, but that made like a 14-foot ceiling or something, so I wanted to bring it up to what would have been like an 8-foot ceiling in 1/12 scale anyway. So I put in another floor. I put supports in and plywood with the planks on it. I love how it turned out. It turned out really nice. That leaves a crawl space in the bottom, just big enough for a little family of either mice or borrowers, or somebody will fit in down there. It's really cute. It didn't have an attic window, so I did cut that part. So that was my other alteration. And I made a window, oops, sorry. I made a window frame to go around that, which I'll be doing next probably. And that window is as it was. These windows on the ground floor actually went down to very low, down to below the floor level that I put in. And I tried to leave them like that, but it just looked too weird. So I put wood spacers in. And I put it right over top of the glass because it's real glass in there. And then on the outside, you can see them, but I'll cover them with something. on this side, I put in a window box, which will camouflage the extra space or some, especially if I decorate the outside a little bit. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the outside. I think I want to leave it like it was, mostly, because it's just so rough. And, yeah, I mean, you can't mistake it for the packing shipping crate. It's got old enamel, probably lead paint. There was some popsicle stick trim on the edges. I popped that off and just left the color that was under the white as it was. But since I don't have a place to display both sides, and it'll be up against a wall probably, I probably won't do a lot of changes to the outside. I'll kind of leave it as it was. Down here, I put the wallpaper on cardstock as well, so I can pull it off and redo it if I want to. It's actually kind of an olive green 20s type kitchen color, but it doesn't show up on the camera. It's really not the shade I wanted, but it'll do for now. It's all right. Until I find a different one, but I tried putting floral wallpaper, but when I looked at kitchens in the 20s and 30s, even into the 40s, kitchens weren't all that often wallpapered. They were usually painted. If it was a farmhouse, it would be painted, and then there would be wainscoting, beadboard on the bottom usually, but it doesn't really matter because I'm not really trying to do anything realistic or authentic. I don't want it to look like a real miniature house. I want it to look like a little girl's dollhouse. A little girl from the 30s, what her dollhouse really would look like. So even though it's basically 1/12 scale, I'm not tied to that scale as far as being extremely accurate. Just want it to look like a little girl's toy. I'm having a lot of fun with it. I love it. But now that I'm this far, I can get into the house with it pretty soon and play around with decorating it. The weather's changing. We're in autumn now. So working inside will happen more often because it'll be cold out here. Of course, I got the other projects going. This was a little kit I couldn't resist. I saw it in the gift shop in Canada. This was a kit house that I bought at a junk store 20-something years ago, and it had been started and it was just in pieces, but it was all in the box yet, but I had no idea how much of it was missing and what was there, and if it was anything left I could put together. And there was pieces missing that I had to replace, and there still is. I need to do something with the porch, and the second floor and stairway were missing. Somebody had a temper tantrum with it, and I can't blame them because when I was trying to put it together, the quality of the wood in these older kits is just horrible. And back then they weren't laser cut, because this was probably produced in the 60s, maybe in the 70s, I don't know. But they were die cut. They weren't laser cut. So the cuts didn't go all the way through. And when you try to punch them out, it tore up the plywood pretty bad. You have to keep going over and over and over with a blade to try to cut through. So I understand why somebody probably had a temper tantrum with it and just shoved what was left back in the box. But I put it together, and I don't know, maybe it'll end up as kind of a witch's cottage, or it might be a Christmas house. I don't know yet. right now I'm just concentrating on this one, as well as this is going to be a room box as well. So that's what's going on in my world at the moment. And there's the progress of the little shipping crate house. I like to think in my mind that this was probably shipping crate for a circular knitting machine, a sock machine that a lot of housewives got, the sock machines during World War II to knit socks for the troops. World War I guess. I'm not sure which they're more prevalent in. But I've seen a lot of those crates. And the way they're divided look just like this. A little bit bigger spot on one side and a smaller spot on the other side. So I'm guessing, or I'm imagining, that this crate was from a CSM circular sock machine. Okay, I guess this has gone on long enough. That's it till next time.